Hi, I'm Ben Titus with MOA Rifles. We made that post of the 22 Creedmoor yesterday, and it got more traction than we ever thought it would. There are a lot of questions that we felt need answered because this is a new cartridge, and there's a lot of people, you know, we compared it to the 22 250, and there's a lot of people who are wondering why we did the 55 grain bullet. A lot of people wondering if we were really getting those velocities, and so we thought we would do a short little video, and so you can kind of get a full picture of how the 22 Creedmoor runs against the 22 250 and just see what it'll do. Loading for the 22 Creedmoor is actually very simple. You can source brass from Alpha Munitions. They're providing readily available 22 Creedmoor brass. Your other options are to just form it from a 6.5 Creedmoor or 6 Creedmoor, any available brand. And today we're going to use 6.5 Creedmoor Lapua brass. So all you have to do is add some lubricant, run your brass through a full length sizer, seat your primer, and add your powder. Today we're loading 42 grains of N550. This is our house load. Do not start with this load if you have a 22 Creedmoor. It may not be safe in everybody's rifle. We're seating a 75 grain Burger VLD at 20 thousandths off the lance. And that's as easy as it needs to be. So we're going to take the 22 250 and load up a ladder test using the 75 grain bullet. That way we can get an equal comparison between the two rounds like everybody wanted. We're going to start low and work up and try to hit our pressure ceiling, and then that'll give us our maximum velocity. Now whether that shoots or not, that's up to the particular rifle. So we just loaded up all of our ammo. We're out here, we're going to shoot the 22 Creed for velocities at 100 yards here. Throwing a magneto speed sporter chronograph on them. We'll be able to show you guys these chronograph numbers, and you can watch and decide for yourself what it looks like. Pressure. So 41 grains of 4451, we have way too high of pressures, and we're at 3420. We're going to shoot some 4350 through it, see if it gets any better, but right now we capped out on the load before this at 3340-ish. So let's see what the other ones do. So we hit 3400 at 40 grains of 4350. Our primers are starting to get flat. We're starting to get a little ejector mark. So, you know, I could see maybe getting to 3425 or so with this. So this is 3425. The 22 Creed was 3590. So we're still looking at 170 feet per second faster. Just got back from shooting. Wanted to verify our claim of 3 times more energy and show you again the drop difference between the 55 grain bullet and the 75 grain bullet, and then we'll run the 75 grain bullet at 22 250 speeds. We're also going to look at quick load and show the pressure differences in the chamber. So here we have 500 yards with the 55 grain bullet. We have 5.7 inches or MOA of drop, and we're looking at 405 foot-pounds of energy. Now if you look at the 75 grain bullet out of the 22 Creed, you're looking at 4 minutes drop and 1,137 foot-pounds of energy. So right close to 3 times as much. If you look at a 75 grain bullet going 22-250 speeds at 3,400, a reasonable safe speed, you're looking at 4.5 minutes of drop, 4.6, and 997 foot-pounds of energy. So not as big of a difference, but the 22 Creed still outperforms. Now let's look at quick load. The 22-250 shooting our max charge of 39.5 or 40 grains actually of 4350, you're looking at 69,000 psi in the chamber. Predicted muzzle velocity is 3450. It's probably going to be a little less than that, but also remember that the maximum pressure according to CIP is 59,000, so you're running 10,000 psi more than recommended. Here's the 22 Creedmoor. You're looking at 67,000 psi at a 42 grain charge weight. Our predicted velocity is slightly lower, but note that the psi recommended psi maximum is sitting at 65,000. The 22-250 was at 58,000, so we're only 2,000 psi over max. Realizing that the Creedmoor case handles pressure better than a 22-250 case. The first thing that came up was the parent case for the 22 Creedmoor. Some people saying that the 22-250 had more case capacity, or that the 22-250 was in some way had a larger case capacity. That's just false. The 22 Creedmoor was based off of the 6 Creed or the 6.5 Creedmoor, and that case was based off of the 30 TC. So the 22-250 really has nothing to do with it. Then the next thing was why we compared the 75 grain bullet to a 55 grain bullet. Simple reasoning was that the majority of produced 22-250s are 1 in 10 to 1 in 12, even 1 in 14 twist, which means that the majority of the bullets being shot are between 50 and 60 grains, and the average velocity is probably sitting somewhere between 3,700 and 3,850. So we felt like that was a fair comparison, because the 22 Creedmoor is a case that is a little bit overboard for those really light bullets, and it really shines when you can put in a heavier bullet. So there were people who wanted to see it with 75 grain bullets in each cartridge. So we went out and shot, and we found that our load was in fact running about 3590, a little bit faster than we posted, and that the 22-250 could run about 3,400 before it really hit the high end of pressure. Now mind you that the 22 Creedmoor really isn't showing that much pressure. We'll look at the quick load. Secondly, the thought that, oh well, you can get a 22-250 that can run a 75 grain bullet from a factory for much less money. The reality is that there's a few offerings, but they are very few, and if you don't like one of them, then you're kind of stuck with it, or you're stuck with building a custom rifle going through a gunsmith. Our goal here, we're providing a 22 caliber rifle that can shoot a 75 grain bullet at high speeds, outperform a 22-250, and we do all the work. We already have the rifles built. We know how to put everything together so that it runs. We do the load development. We can provide ammo. So all of that has been done. It really takes the majority of the wildcatting out of it. And yes, the 22-250 is going to outperform in the barrel life category. You can get 3,000 rounds or more out of a 22-250 depending on how you run it. The 22 Creedmoor, 1,000 rounds is a reasonable expectation. Now there are people out there who are shooting upwards of 1,500 rounds out of their Creedmoor still, and so it really depends again on how you run them. So the 22 Creed is developed for high performance shooting, high performance hunting, so it would really shine on a coyote hunt, even deer hunting. People shoot deer with 22-250s and 223s all the time, and it's just going to perform even better. And you're going to be able to shoot a heavier bullet. So it definitely has its place. It's not a do all end all. It's not out here to replace the 22-250. That's time proven. But it has its place, and it's a high performance round. At the end of the day, we are not here to reinvent the wheel. We are not here to say that we made the 22 Creedmoor, because it's been out. People have been shooting it for years. What we're doing is we're providing an accessible option. We're providing ammo. We're taking a lot of the hindrances away from going to such a round. The only other rounds that you're going to find that are going to match or beat the performance of this are, say, the 22-250 Ackley improved. You have to fireform it, versus we can have brass directly from Alpha Munitions, or we can form our brass and load and shoot. We hope we've answered a lot of the questions that people have had, and we hope that we've dispelled some of the myths that people who don't know what they're talking about are posting and commenting. So if this is a cartridge that interests you, or if you have more questions or anything, feel free to call us. Our shop number is 541-526-1820. You can email us, send us a message on Facebook, however you want to do it, we'll get back to you. And if you want to order a rifle, we're taking orders now, and we can provide ammo, we can provide load data, load development, etc. So we hope this video has been helpful, and give us a call sometime.